This week on the Sturry Link Road project, steady progress continues across the southern section of the scheme as the site moves further into its next stage of development. Between the southern roundabout and the south abutment, activity remains consistent, with ongoing deliveries, ground formation and compaction work continuing to shape the developing route. Across this section, engineers have also been carrying out CBR testing to assess ground conditions, alongside setting out works around the south abutment to define key levels and alignment for the next phase of construction. Midweek brings a key development as new plant arrives on site, with preparations increasing around the main work areas linked to upcoming structural operations. And during early morning filming at the weekend, a brief moment of wildlife crossing the developing route serves as a reminder of how quickly the landscape here is changing. Although conditions have been mixed at times, progress has remained steady, with each day adding another layer to the formation of the scheme. By the end of this episode, preparations for sheet piling are in place and ready to move forward. This is episode 11. One of the key changes taking shape this week is in the area adjacent to the south abutment. At the moment, earthworks are continuing here with dumpers and excavators steadily moving and placing layers of fill, gradually building up the formation as levels are developed across the area. As the week progresses, Type 1 material is then brought in to help strengthen and consolidate the formation, making the ground more stable and defined as it builds. According to the current site layout, this area is intended to act as a temporary storage, laydown and potential FRC fabrication zone during the construction phase, before being reconfigured as the works progress. Over time, the footprint of this section becomes more established as the ground continues to rise and the southern working area develops further. Alongside the ongoing earthworks around the south abutment, Additional environmental protection measures have also been installed between the working area and the river. A geotextile membrane has been positioned to help control surface runoff and reduce the movement of fine sediments during construction activity. In addition to this, straw bales have been installed as a secondary filter, forming a physical barrier to further assist with sediment control in this sensitive area. These measures are in place to help manage environmental impact while earthworks and ground preparation continue nearby, particularly as levels are adjusted and material is moved closer to the water's edge. As construction progresses, these protections will remain in place to ensure the river environment is safeguarded throughout this stage of the works. Midweek brought a significant development to site with the arrival of the Movax sheet piling attachment. Fitted to an excavator, this specialist piece of equipment will be used to install sheet piles as part of the upcoming structural works around the abutment areas. The system allows for controlled positioning and driving of steel piles into the ground, forming the foundations for retaining structures and key elements of the scheme going forward. At this stage, the equipment has just arrived on site, with full setup and operation expected to follow once conditions and preparations are in place. We'll take a closer look at this in more detail as the site allows, once access is possible for a closer inspection of the works. As activity continues around the southern roundabout, early excavation work also appears to be developing in the area planned for one of the scheme's attenuation ponds. According to the project documents, this basin will form part of the wider drainage and flood management system for the new Link Road, helping control and manage surface water runoff from the southern section of the scheme. Once complete, water from sections of the carriageway and surrounding paved areas will be directed into the pond, where flows can be slowed and managed before gradually being discharged into the local drainage network. The basin is also designed to help capture sediments and improve water quality before release, forming part of the project's wider environmental protection measures. At this stage, works here appear to be focused on the early excavation and shaping of the area as preparations continue across multiple sections of the site. Across the southern section of the site this week, engineers were also carrying out CBR testing to assess the strength and stability of the developing ground formation. The test helps determine how well the surface layers will support future construction loads, particularly in areas that will carry heavy plant, construction traffic, and permanent road infrastructure. In this case, the excavator is being used as the reaction load for the testing equipment, applying controlled pressure to measure how the ground responds under load. These tests form an important part of the quality control process, helping engineers confirm that the formation and sub-base layers are performing to the required standard before further construction continues. As heavy rain moved across the site this week, work continued despite increasingly difficult conditions. Tipper lorries could still be seen arriving and leaving through the site access, delivering material into the southern works area as construction activity pushed on through the weather. With the constant movement of heavy vehicles in wet conditions, road sweepers were also operating behind the haulage traffic, helping keep the access routes clear of mud, loose material, and debris being carried out from the site. Sweepers like this form an important part of construction site management, particularly during periods of rain, helping maintain safer road conditions both within the site and on surrounding public roads as vehicle movements continue throughout the day. With site activity paused, we can now take a closer look at one of the latest additions to arrive on the project this week, the Movax sheet piling attachment. Mounted to the excavator, this specialist hydraulic system is designed for the handling and installation of steel sheet piles, which are commonly used in major civil engineering projects to create retaining walls, support excavations, and stabilize ground around structures and watercourses. Unlike traditional piling systems that rely on large static rigs, the Movax system uses a side grip mechanism, allowing the excavator operator to lift, position, align, and drive sheet piles with a high level of control and accuracy directly from the cab. The attachment works by applying vibration into the steel pile, helping it penetrate the ground while maintaining precise alignment during installation. This makes the system particularly effective in restricted working areas and alongside existing infrastructure such as rivers, embankments, and bridge approaches. As preparations continue across the site, equipment like this marks another clear transition from large-scale earthworks into the early stages of more complex structural operations. Over the coming weeks, this machinery is expected to play a key role in the next phase of construction works across the southern section of the scheme. Along the northern side of the scheme, further developments are also beginning to take shape, following updates to planning conditions and design revisions for this section of the works. Preparatory activity is now getting underway ahead of archaeological investigations, which are expected to commence from Monday, with access routes commencing in the next week or so towards the northern roundabout area. This phase will allow the ground to be assessed before further construction continues, ensuring any findings are properly recorded as work progresses through this part of the scheme. In addition to this, early preparation is also expected to begin for ditch culverting works along the edge of the A28, forming part of the wider drainage strategy for the project. As with other areas across the site, these works form part of the gradual progression from preparation into full construction activity as the scheme continues to develop. As another week comes to an end on the Sturry Link Road project, steady progress continues across the southern section of the scheme. Between the southern roundabout and the south abutment, earthworks, deliveries and compaction have continued throughout the week, gradually building up the formation and pushing the corridor forward layer by layer. Aggregate deliveries across this section have averaged in the region of 1,500 tonnes per day, feeding the ongoing formation build-up. Engineers have also remained active on site, carrying out setting out works and ground checks to define key positions for the next stages of construction. Midweek saw a key development with the arrival of the Movax sheet piling attachment, now positioned on site and ready for use. Across other areas of the scheme, early preparation works are also beginning to develop following recent updates to planning conditions, with further archaeological and drainage-related activity expected to follow. Overall, it's been another steady week of visible progress, with each section of the site moving closer to its next phase. And now, attention turns to the start of something significant. From Monday, sheet piling operations are due to begin at the south abutment. This marks a clear shift in the project, from earthworks and formation building into driven steel and structural installation. The site is about to move into a noticeably different stage of construction, and the next episode will capture that change as it happens.